So this is lesson 5.7b in elementary algebra, and we are doing division by polynomials. Remember, I said I was going to leave that division problem on there. All right, if you look at example 7, it says that we are going to take x squared minus 5x plus 8, and we're going to divide it by x minus 3. Now, if we split all of this up, that does not get us anywhere. Now, when this bottom number was a monomial, then it did get us somewhere. But with it as it is right now, it doesn't get us anywhere. So what we're going to do is we're going to first of all rewrite this equation. And I'm going to move this over a little bit, and then I'll erase it once I get it rewritten. So we're going to write the bottom number first. In fact, I need to give myself a little more space. Alright, so now I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so there is our polynomial divided by a polynomial, or in this case it's a binomial, but dividing a polynomial by a polynomial. Alright, so take good notes on this, because there is a method to doing this, but it's going to take some practice to feel comfortable with it. Okay? So, here we go. First of all, we look here and we say how many of these are in there, in this. It is always going to be this number minus this number, which let's put a 1 up there just so we know. Okay, so it's always going to be whatever this number is minus that number. So x to the 2 minus 1 is 1. That's how many x's there are in x squared. Now, we're going to multiply x to the first power times this, just like when we did this. We 27 into 39 once. 1 times 7, 1 times 2. Same thing. This times this, this times this. Okay, so what do we get? X times x, and then x times negative 3. Draw a line, put a minus sign. Always put a minus sign. Don't assume you're going to remember, because what's going to happen is when you look at this, you're going to go negative 5x minus 3x. No, it's negative 5x minus negative 3x, which means negative and a negative gives you a positive. So negative 5x minus negative 3x is the same as plus 3x. Okay? When you subtract these two, you will always, always, always get 0. So you're never going to have to worry about that. If you don't get 0, you did something wrong. Okay, so remember back here, 1 times 27 is 27. We subtracted, just like we subtracted here, and we got negative 2x. Over here we got 126. What was our next step? How many times does this go into this? And it was 4 times. How many times does x go into negative 2x? So again, the exponent on this minus the exponent on this. What is 1 minus 1? 0. Any number to the 0 power equals 1, correct? So this goes into this 1 time. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Get rid of some of my stuff here. Okay. Another way some students look at this is they say, all right, I have 1x here and I have 1x here. They cancel each other out. They go away. Okay? Leaving me with just the negative 2. And over here when I did that, how many times did 27 go into 126? 4 times. 4 times 7, and 4 times 2. Same thing. Negative 2 times negative 3, negative 2 times 2x. But before we do that, let's bring down our 8. Just like we brought down our 6 over there on the right. Alright, so this goes into this, minus 2 times, which we've already got up there. And we go ahead and multiply. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Don't forget your minus sign. Negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. So, negative 2 minus negative 2x is the same as negative 2 plus 2x. And remember what I said, this has to give you a 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. I really don't need the 2x and the plus there. Can't bring anything down. And once I have no variable, no letter in my problem, that's as much as I can do. Now what happened with remainders over here? 20, and I wrote it as 20 over 27. I'm going to do the same thing with this 2. I'm going to put a plus 2 over x minus 3. All right. Yeah, that's kind of tricky, isn't it? All right, let's do another one. So this one is very similar to number 45 in the problem set. I just used x's instead of a's. But let's go ahead and talk through this. Okay, x goes into x squared. Always 2 minus 1. So how many x's are in x squared? There's 1. Okay, so x into x squared means I'm just reducing my x squared by 1. Now I multiply, and I get x squared, multiply, draw a line, put a minus. These cancel when I subtract. 9x minus 5x is 4x. Bring down the 20. X goes into 4x. Well, if there's 1 there and there's 1 there, 1 minus 1 is 0. So x goes into 4x 4 times. Now I multiply. And then I multiply. Subtract. This minus this is 0. This minus this is 0. This is our answer. There's no remainder, and we're done. Okay, let's look at another one. We'll try some that are, we'll just get progressively harder here, but we'll try not to make it too bad. So this is number 48, and let's go ahead and give this a shot. 2x goes into 4x squared. Well, 2 goes into 4 2 times, right? X goes into x squared 1 time. 2x times 2x is 4x squared, which again, if you're not getting these two as the exact same, you're doing something wrong. Now 2x times negative 1. Negative 2x. Line minus. So these cancel out, become 0. 4 minus negative 2x is the same as 4x plus 2x. Bring down our negative 3. Alright, so 2x goes into 6x 3 times. Now we multiply. That times that. And that times that. Subtract. 6x minus 6x is 0. Negative 3 minus negative 3 is the same as negative 3 plus 3, which is 0. So this ends up being your answer, no remainder. Now I'm going over these a lot because I know how complicated and confusing these can be. So I'm just thinking if I do several of those will help. Well, all I'm going to do is examples from the textbook. This is number 64. Anyway, if you want to jump ahead to the next video, you can do that because I am going to go into new material there. But I just want to get you a little bit more familiar with how these things are doing. In the examples, they only give you one example before they jump. So anyway, let's try this one. 3x goes into 5x squared. 3 goes into 15. 3 goes into 15, 5. X goes into x squared once. Okay, then we multiply. And we get 15x squared, and we multiply 40x, line minus, don't forget that minus. These go away. 15x squared minus 15x squared. 19x minus 40. Bring down the negative 4. So 3x goes into negative 21x, negative 7 times. Okay, the x's go away because there's 1 in each one. There's 1x here and there's 1x here, so this x and this x disappear. Okay, when we did this one into this one, we still had 1 left, 2 minus 1. But here, since we have 1 there and 1 there, they both go away, so it's just 3 into negative 21. I'm going to multiply negative 7 times 3, and then I'm going to multiply negative 7 times 8, line minus. It's going to make that and that positive, and it's going to make that positive. So these go away. Negative 4 plus 56 is positive 52. So I have a remainder now, and I know I'm done when I have no more variables. When I get just a number there, I'm done. So that's going to be plus 52 over that. Okay? So this is number 52, and let's go ahead. This is another a little bit trickier. X squared goes into x to the 4th. 4 minus 2. Multiply that. So that times that. That times that. Okay, now one of the things that we didn't go over yet, and we hadn't run into it, so now that we're running into it, I'm going to explain it. We have a 3 up here and an exponent and a 2 down here. That's never been the case. In every one we've done up to this point, our exponents have always been stacked. The same, 4 and 4, a 3 and a 3, a 2 and a 2, you know, whatever. Now we have a 2 under this. So what we have to do is we have to, let's see if I can get rid of a bunch of this. So this was x to the 4th, and we had a minus 2x squared. It has to be under a like term. So we're going to put that minus 2x squared over here, under that one. And we've got a minus. So we're going to go ahead and subtract this from this, and we get 0. 3x cubed, there's nothing there, so we're just going to bring it down. And the 2x minus a negative 2x would be 2x plus 2x. And then we'll bring down a minus 6x. Alright, so this goes into, oops, that was a cubed. That 3x times, and now we're going to multiply. This times the x squared gives me 3x cubed. Now notice I've got a cube there now. That times that is a negative 6x. There's nothing that's squared there. So I am in the same boat I was before. So I'm going to subtract. Those go away. We have a 4x squared minus 0. And we'll bring down the minus 8. So we get 4x squared minus 8.